Welcome back to Math with me, Marisol Lopez, your second grade virtual content specialist. Think of me as your teacher's helper. In this video, you will learn how to collect data and then how to represent your findings in different ways. Let's begin. Today, we are going to be answering this question. How can you draw and label a bar graph to represent data? I'm sure there are several words in this question that maybe confuse you a little, like this word, bar graph, and this word, data. Well, do not worry. If you have not heard these words before, we are going to be exploring what those words mean today. First, let's answer this question. What is data? Have you ever asked a friend, hey, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Has your friend answered, vanilla? Then maybe you said, well, I like chocolate. And then maybe you asked another friend and another friend and another friend. And maybe 2 friends said they liked vanilla ice cream and 3 friends said they liked chocolate the most. In this case, you may not know it, but you conducted a survey. A survey is when you ask many people the same question and write down everyone's response or vote. Remember, everyone can only vote once. Then at the end, you count all of the votes and compare. You may ask yourself questions like, which flavor did most people like? Which flavor did people like the least or not so much? It is easy to keep track of votes when you ask a small group of people like your friends. But when a larger group is being asked to vote, keeping track becomes more difficult. People's votes or answers are also called the data. So let's review. Data can be a collection of information. It is gathered by observation or watching, asking questions, right? Surveying people or measuring. The results that you collect, is organized in graphs or charts to be analyzed later. One way to organize the votes of the people surveyed is in the form of a tally chart, as you can see here. The choices of ice cream flavors are along the left. Then one line was drawn for each vote, and we call these lines tally marks. One important thing to note is that when you are drawing the 5th line of a group of tally marks, you must draw the 5th line going across the 4 other tally marks, as we can see here. So these 2 have a group of 5. Wow, I can already tell by this tally chart that vanilla has the most votes. It has 5 and 4, which equals 9 in total. And then chocolate has 5 and 2, which makes a total of 7 votes. And last, strawberry had the least number of votes. It only had 3 votes. Tally charts can sometimes look different, but they all have a title at the top. So this one says favorite ice cream flavors, this one says favorite snack, and this one is about bird count. They also have different choices or categories, right? So this one has vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, carrots, pretzels, grapes, chips. And then, of course, we have the tally marks, or the number of votes that each category received. Once we have finished collecting data, like the one seen in this tally chart titled Number of Books Read, we can organize that data in a neater and clearer way in the form of a graph. There are many different types of graphs. The first graph we're going to learn about is a picture graph. Let's read the instructions from today's lesson. It says, use the tally chart to fill in the picture graph. Drag the ovals to complete the graph. So we have to drag the same number of ovals into these blank squares to show the data that was collected in the tally chart. Practice with me. All right, let's try this together. I am noticing in the tally chart that Jose read 5 plus 3 books, that equals 8. So I'm going to draw 8 ovals above Jose's name. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now we have a total of 8. I fast forward a little bit. Now I'm going to look at Laura. She only has 5. She only read 5 books. 1, 2, and there are those friendly red helper lines again to make sure everything's nice and tidy. 3, 4, 5. And then going back to my tally chart, Linda read no books. She has 0 books. So Linda, I'm not going to fill in anything for Linda. But wow, look at this. I can already see that Jose read the most books and Linda read the least number of books. As I mentioned previously, a picture graph is a graph that uses images, pictures, symbols to represent the data. Here are some other examples of picture graphs. They have a few things in common. All picture graphs have a title. This one is titled What We Drink. This one is titled Favorite Fruit. And they all have categories. So this one is milk, water, juice. Those are the options. Here, apple, banana, strawberry, pear, and grapes. Also, most picture graphs have something that is called a key at the top or sometimes at the bottom. The key tells you how much each picture is equal to. In this graph, 1 smiley face is equal to 2 votes. When you are looking at this picture graph, you have to count by 2s to find the total. In other words, we see 5 smiley faces for apples, but really we're going to count them like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that means 10 people voted apples as their favorite fruit. The last type of graph that you will learn about in today's lesson is a bar graph. Let's read the instructions. Complete the bar graph using data provided in the table. Some of the information has been filled in for you. Drag the tiles onto the grid to represent each habitat. Then answer the questions about the data on the next slide. So the first thing we have to do is look at this tally chart right here. It's titled Animal Habitats. So in the desert, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 animals that live in the desert. 5 animals live in the Arctic. And oh my goodness, in the grasslands, we have 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 animals that live in the grasslands. So now we're going to take this data and we're going to organize it here in the form of a bar graph. All right, the way we're going to do that is by dragging the tiles. So in the desert, we said 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the reason why this is called a bar graph is because we are building a tower of squares, one on top of the other, and it looks like a bar, right? Above desert, it's a bar in the bar graph. The next category is Arctic. This one has 5, so we're going to drag 5 tiles on top of Arctic. All right, so now I have created a bar of 5 square tiles above the Arctic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we have to drag 14 square tiles above grassland. Now I have 14 tiles above grasslands. And wow, I can already see grasslands is where the most animals live. All right, now let's look at some more bar graphs. This one says pet survey. I'm predicting that someone went around asking people to vote for their favorite pet and organize their data into this bar graph. I can already see that 9 people voted for rabbits. Rabbits received the most votes. This bar graph is titled Flowers in the Garden. Categories are daisy, tulip, rose, and lily. I can already tell that the daisy received the most votes because it has the longest bar in the bar graph. And lastly, we have this bar graph titled Our Favorite Subjects. And once again, the categories are reading, math, science, and writing. I'm predicting that someone went around asking many students what their favorite subject was and then organized the data in the form of a bar graph. Which subject received the most votes? If you said math, then you are correct. Look at it. It has 12 votes in all. You see how the bar lines up with the line of the number 12? It received the most votes. Wow. All right, friends, now it is your turn to conduct a survey, which means you're going to ask the people in your family, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? And then you're going to mark their responses by writing the tallies in this empty tally chart. You can use the scribble option that we learned how to draw in Google Slides. Once you are done writing your tally marks in the tally chart, then you are going to complete this bar graph with the data that you collected. You learned a lot about collecting data and using tally charts and organizing the data you collected into different graphs, like the picture graph and the bar graph. Save the data you collected from your family members' favorite ice cream flavors and show it to your teacher. Until next time, bye bye.